McLaren cooked. Red Bull is cooked. Ferrari cooked their tires. Those are just a few of the ways I would describe the Miami GP. And while I'm so tempted to get into the Ferrari saga, and I do have some opinions on that, I want to do something, and that is give Oscar Piastri his props. I mean, the guy is developing into an excellent racing driver. I do believe he's going to be the champion this year. And more importantly, he's the entire package. Here's what I mean by that. Piastri understands politics. He understands public relations. He understands patience. I mean, let's not forget that for the first couple of years of his tenure with, I almost said Mercedes. I mean, I guess they have a Mercedes power unit. For the first couple of years over at Mercedes, he was learning. He kind of kept quiet. He kept so quiet, in fact, that people thought, I think, that he didn't really have much to say, but he was just patiently learning, honing his craft, and letting his driving do the talking. Now, he got his elbows out against his teammate, Lando Norris, a couple times last year, but this year, I think he understands that he is the better driver. Now, Norris might be the quicker driver, but again, Piastri is the better racer. Now, Piastri now leads the WDC by 16 points. That is 131 points to Lando Norris's 115 points. Piastri has 4 wins. 4 wins on the season. That is kind of sounding Verstappen-y. And Norris only has 1 win. And, of course, Verstappen with 1 win. But that's 131, 115, and then Max Verstappen has 99 points. First and second in the WDC are well into the triple digits, and Max Verstappen is down in the doubles. And that's why I said Red Bull is cooked. Now, let's take a look at the Constructors' Championship. McLaren is up at 246 points. Mercedes is at 141, and Red Bull is at 105. Now, if Red Bull hadn't have wasted time with Liam Lawson, I'm not being mean. This is racing. It's a business, and if you can't cut it, then changes have to be made. And I think Red Bull made the wrong decision with putting Liam in instead of Yuki. And who knows, maybe in the Constructors' Championship, they would be a lot closer to second place had they had Tsunoda there the whole time. But get this, Ferrari has only had 1 podium this year. Ferrari's at 94 points in the Drivers' Championship. Red Bull is at 105. So Red Bull, if they don't get their act together, and if Ferrari does get their act together, then Ferrari could very well be in contention for P3. In the earlier part of the race, Kimi Antonelli, man, that kid is lightning fast. I just don't think that the Mercedes has the long-term race pace to drive to the capability that Antonelli can do it. I think that George Russell knows this car. He knows the foibles of the car. And while he might not look as quick during the race, he somehow manages to sneak his way up to a podium position time and time again. And that got him 15 points this race, and that is very impressive. Kimi Antonelli, on the other hand, he had to settle for, where did he land? He landed in 6th. Now, that's 8 points. That's not too bad. But again, I think with experience, Kimi Antonelli will be a little bit more consistent. He did have some bad luck during the race, but with some experience, he'll be a little more consistent. He'll know how to treat the tires correctly on the Mercedes car, and I think that he will consistently be up near the podium, if not on the podium, especially if Mercedes gets it right in the 2026 regulations, and because Mercedes does like electricity. And Toto Wolff, he showed his hand a little bit. I guess I'm talking about Mercedes now a little bit. Toto Wolff kind of showed his hand a little bit when they were talking about reducing the amount of electricity, the amount of battery in the 2026 regulations. He was like, nah, I don't like it. So he's got some shocking cards up his sleeve for 2026, and I'm sure he doesn't want to move that at all. But anyway, I'm talking about Antonelli because Piastri and Antonelli, they're kind of looking like rivals right now, a little bit. But then again, Piastri is rivaling everyone for different reasons. Piastri is the current young phenom. Kimi Antonelli is also a current young phenom, and they're doing battle against each other. Piastri is driving against Lando Norris, his teammate. They're doing battle. They are rivals. And Piastri, oh my gosh, if you saw the first 13, 14 laps of the Miami GP, it was just back and forth with Antonelli and Verstappen. And Piastri stayed very calm under pressure and eventually took that race lead. So Piastri effectively has like 3 rivals on the grid, one of which is his own teammate. And his teammate is very, very fast. Lando Norris got the fastest lap of the race, a minute 29 and 0.74 seconds. Oscar Piastri, minute 29.82 seconds. So I was telling you that Norris might be the quicker racer, but Piastri is the better racer. And he's got so many rivals that he's keeping up with, that he's passing. He's really showing how well he performs under pressure. And let's get it straight. Pressure is what Formula One is all about. If you can handle it, then you're in, my guy. You're in. And, you know, I could beat this dead horse, but I don't know if I need to. We're going to see Piastri gather up more and more wins during the season. And I'm not counting Lando Norris out as a champion in 2025. I do think that he has made the case a little bit more difficult on himself. And Piastri, I think he has carte blanche over there at McLaren to just keep on doing what he's doing. And he's gaining some fans. Gaining fans inside of the team as well, because he's not, kind of poo-pooing on the car the way Norris is. I don't know if you saw the Lego race, but Lando Norris made the comment that the Lego car felt better than the real car. I know that was kind of a joke, but my guy, you've been making this negative comment about your team all year long. Now, I'm still kind of a Lando Norris fan. I'm not sure why. He's not really saying the right words, but he seems like a likable enough guy. He's a clean enough driver, which I really appreciate. But at the end of the day, is he the full package? I don't know. He's fast, but he's not really doing that well in terms of politics and pace. And that is really how you get ahead in this game. Now, when it comes to Red Bull keeps complaining that they don't have the fastest car. I beg to differ. Or actually, they don't have the fastest car as far as race pace. That's for sure. But it's not a slow car either, because slow cars don't get pole position. Slow cars don't win races, and let's not forget, Max Verstappen does have a race win on the season. So it's not as bad a car as I think regular media is trying to make you believe. Is it the dominant car that it was in 22, 23, and 24? No. Or at least the first half of 24? No. But that happens. Teams catch up. Teams start to get it right. And right now, McLaren definitely has it right. And Red Bull has been making some mistakes. Max Verstappen is holding on. He's racing well. He is holding on for dear life. And I think that there is a lot of pride there. He's going to keep pushing and I think he's going to get, a couple few more wins this year. But is the era of Red Bull dominance over? I do believe so, and I think that, and when it comes to dominance in particular, Red Bull is cooked. I spoke a lot about Mercedes. I think that we're going to see a lot of Mercedes podiums. Are they going to get a win? I don't know. The McLaren car is a little too fast, and I think it's like halfway through the races you start to see the Mercedes cars start to fall off. I think there's a little bit too much tire degradation or drag. Uh, it's weird. People should be celebrating Mercedes' performance more. I do think that they shot themselves in the foot with how they got rid of Lewis Hamilton. And when I say got rid of, yeah, did Lewis Hamilton go over to Ferrari? Yes, he is the one who left, but I still feel like they effectively got rid of him by poor treatment and not building a good car until, ironically, after he left. Lewis Hamilton is at Ferrari now, but he's not out of the woods. And there are a couple of articles. ESPN F1 is one of my favorite sources of Formula One information. ESPN F1 seems to be doing pretty well. So, and they actually cataloged all of this crazy radio transmission. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. So this all started to go down in lap 36. And let's see, Hamilton was on medium tires and he was stuck in DRS behind Charles Leclerc, who was on hards. And I'm reading this article from Formula One. Hamilton gets on the radio and he's like, I'm just burning up my tires behind him. You want me to just sit here the whole race? Adami says, we'll come back to you. That seems really disconnected. I mean, you got a driver in a car going 200 miles an hour and you're like, I'll get back to you. What is this, customer service? Am I calling to make a return? No, it's a race. It's an actual race, and a team like Ferrari should be well equipped to make very quick decisions. Anyway, Adami, we'll come back to you. Adami, we want to keep the DRS to Charles. Go ahead like this. Carlos behind 1.5. Hamilton, ugh, you guys. Lap 39. So this is 3 laps later. Hamilton is finally released by Leclerc, who lets him through at turn 7. And Hamilton gets on the radio and he says, this is not good teamwork. That's all I'm going to say. Hamilton says, in China, I got out of the way. Now, this is true. This is true. And Adami, we swapped cars. Hamilton said, have a tea break while you're at it. Come on. He's got some really good sarcasm, I do have to say. Lap 42, Hamilton is struggling to pull away from Leclerc, and he's struggling to catch Kimi Antonelli. Well, no crap. You burned up his tires for a good 3-4 laps, so he's losing the advantage that he had on the medium tires. Those 3 laps would have been the laps that he would have used to catch up to Kimi Antonelli and to battle him. And then maybe once he got past him and the mediums fall off, you settle back into a race pace. And if he failed to catch Kimi Antonelli, then guess what? You just swap him back. And that is actually the official policy over there at Ferrari. They're supposed to allow their drivers or, order their drivers to swap positions if one has the advantage over the other. And if the other can't capitalize on that advantage, then they just swap them back. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and they should have made the decision. When he said, we'll get back, when Adami said, we'll get back, to me, it kind of felt like it was more of a political decision, more so than a racing decision. And what that ended up doing is just pissing off both drivers, because effectively what they did was burn the tires of both drivers. So Hamilton struggled for 3-4 laps behind Leclerc. And then Leclerc, in turn, because Hamilton couldn't get away from Leclerc, burned his tires too. And so I feel like Ferrari was just kind of settling in, we'll just take 7 and 8. when they should have, the fire in the belly that Lewis Hamilton in the later interview said that he had. And I don't know, go for it. It kind of smacked of McLaren when they were having difficulties making their decisions. And I just feel like McLaren was surprised that they were in the position to try and challenge ahead of themselves. Kind of forgivable, kind of forgivable. Like McLaren is kind of new to being the leader. They've finally figured out how to do it. But Ferrari, you guys are storied. You guys are well decorated. You guys have history. You should be able to make these decisions very quickly. Now, lap 42, Leclerc gets on the radio. I need Lewis to go faster. I've just got dirty air now. And then lap 41, Leclerc, are we coming back on Antonelli? Bozzi, we are quite slowly. Could you go quicker, Leclerc? I have no idea. I am now overheating. Lap 42, Hamilton is now 2.4 seconds behind Antonelli. And Adami says to Hamilton, we're going to swap cars. Hamilton, so you don't think I can catch up or to what? Adami, yes. What is going on? They're looking like crap. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Lap 54, Adami says, Sainz is 1.4 behind. Thanks for the information. And Hamilton, I think, this is the quote of the season. You want me to let him pass as well? I mean, Hamilton's sarcasm was on 10 during the Miami GP. It's weird. There are some commentators that have been in Formula One for a very long time. I'm talking since prior to Senna. And for some reason, are like, Hamilton was rude and fiery and stuff. Come on. That's exactly what you want out of your champion driver. You want some fire in his freaking belly. And I feel like Hamilton was beat into submission so much in the last couple of years over at Mercedes. I don't even think he felt like arguing his point would yield any result whatsoever. So I just feel like he was kind of along for the ride. From what I understand, Fred Vasseur kind of took it a little bit difficult. If I were Fred Vasseur, I would actually be encouraged that Lewis Hamilton is getting this feisty. Hamilton doesn't really talk crap unless he feels like he can do something to back it up. So if he's saying, come on, guys, yeah, in the moment, it's going to hurt a little bit emotionally, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it hurts a little bit in the beginning. You'd be like, ooh, why is he speaking to my guys like that? But at the end of the day, it's exactly what you want. You want the fire. And Hamilton was bringing it. I do think that Ferrari maybe is going to get their act together over the coming races, and it's a crapshoot for 2026. But I do think that at the very least, Hamilton is back. You could see it in some of the racecraft. The way he stuck his neck out to get some passes done. He gained 4 spots. Leclerc gained 1 spot. Leclerc is lightning fast as well. It's really up to Ferrari to bring the upgrades to the car and also to practice what their management style is going to be. Because the drivers, I think both of the drivers are doing just fine. Could Hamilton qualify a little bit better? Yeah, absolutely. He sure could. But I think all in all, once both drivers get on the track, they're handling business, and Ferrari needs to handle their part of the deal. Now, I want to go into a little bit of the briefing that came up after. So Hamilton admitted, and I've moved on to motorsport.com. I like motorsport as well. Hamilton was being interviewed, and he said, firstly, I generally enjoyed the race. I think this weekend, whilst we're not as quick as we want to be, I feel like I had a better weekend in general. I might not show necessarily today, but starting 12th, it was very hard to overtake here. I got onto the medium tire, and I felt the car really come alive, and I felt super optimistic in that moment. To feel like that to feel like you could go up and challenge and get, just a couple of places closer to the podium, and to be sat behind your teammate, not for lack of your teammate's speed, but it's simply just, different tire, different strategy. That would be absolutely, frustrating. And clearly the world is watching. Now, you might say, well, why didn't Hamilton just go ahead and pass? Well, I mean, there's a lot of politics in Formula One. If he went for the pass and crashed out with Leclerc, I just don't think the timing for that is good. It's not like Hamilton is leading in the points. It's not like Hamilton is fighting for a championship. Hamilton knows that in the position that he's in, it kind of behooves him to follow team orders, and the team didn't give orders quick enough and really just demolished both drivers' race. And that was, I think that the lack of performance in the Miami GP was all on Ferrari themselves. I want to shout out to Kimi Antonelli again. He's I can't wait for 2026. I think he is going to be fighting for podiums, just based on talent. Isaac Hadjar, gotta give him a shout out again. And I gotta give a shout out to the Lego Formula One cars. Ferrari in particular, I think the Lego Ferrari looked better than the actual Ferrari, because the Ferrari livery looked like it was wearing a Williams backpack. Kind of strange. But I enjoyed the Lego Ferrari thing a lot more than I thought I would. And I think the team that got into it the most would have to be Williams. Sainz was doing a pre-driver parade lap interview, and he was saying, it's gonna be interesting because we're on the slick tires. I mean, he was taking this thing like seriously, but also hilariously, and I thought it was great. And when Williams started to pass Red Bull, and Sainz looks over at Verstappen. Verstappen actually cracked a smile, and it seemed like he really started to enjoy himself on that. So shout out. Miami is becoming one of my favorite tracks. It's an interesting time for Formula One tracks. We're starting to find that a lot of revenue, a lot of popularity comes to the city tracks. And as long as you can make the track interesting, and you can make it work for the cars, I don't see any reason to not have them on the schedule. Spa is an amazing track. It is such a cool track. I love to sim race on that track all the time. But I got to give it to Miami. That was a really good race to watch. Las Vegas, that's a good track to watch. And you know what? If we're going to keep Monaco on the schedule, which is essentially a traffic jam, then why not have a couple of other city races that are just signed up for insane contracts as well? And I think Miami is going to be, they just signed a contract up until 2041. I'm here for it. I'm actually kind of here for it. I think the Miami race is kind of the Monaco of the Monaco of the Americas. It's where all the celebs and yachts and all that kind of stuff hang out, and that kind of goes hand in hand with Formula One. So the spectacle, I think, is really quite good. I want to give a shout out to a young racing driver who's really freaking good. I have raced with him on the same team, and I wish I could go to this guy's graduation party. I am actually going to be out of town during that graduation party. So T, if you see this, happy graduation, and wish I could be there, but we'll definitely have to get out on the track again so I can learn from you, man, because, dude, you got it. You freaking got it. All right. I've been Dalton. This has been The Petrolist, and you have been great. Thanks for watching. I'm out.